Okay, in today's Monday Mortgage Minute, we're going to talk about VA loans and specifically bonus entitlement. Okay, this is how this works. If you've ever gone to a bank or a credit union or called some toll-free number and got some punk on the phone doesn't know how VA loans work, and they say, oh, you got to sell your existing VA home before you can go buy another VA home, hang up the phone immediately, call me. Okay, there's something called VA Bonus Entitlement. Now, admittedly, I know I call that person a punk. I'm sorry. I used to be that punk. When I first started in mortgage lending, I didn't know how this bonus entitlement stuff worked. So let me break it down for you. This is how it works. Okay, admittedly, that's a terrible drawing of the US, but stick with me. Let's say you're stationed out here on the East Coast and you bought a house and you've lived there a number of years. And now, and let's say you bought that with a VA loan, 0 down, okay? You got orders to PCS, let's say up here to the Northwest, okay? Let's say whatever, Joint Base, Lewis McCord. And you would like to buy another house out here when you move. So you got a couple questions. First off, can you use a VA loan again? Next question, what are you going to do with this house? Are you going to keep it? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to rent it out? Okay. Let's say you want to keep it and you want to rent it out. Let's look at how that works. Let's say your mortgage on this thing right now is $2,250 a month, okay? And you're like, hey, Greg, I can rent this thing out for $3,000 a month, okay? It'll cover it. In fact, I'll get a little cash flow. I would say, great, that works. I need a 12-month signed lease and we're cool. That rent would cover that mortgage. How it works in the background is we have to pull out a 25% vacancy factor. Okay, so ideally you want to rent it out for a little more than what your mortgage is. So in this example, in underwriting terms, yeah, you're getting $3,000 a month in rent. We pull out a 25% required vacancy factor, or another way to say it is we count 75% of the rent to offset your mortgage. So this would basically be a wash, right? There's no debt here holding you back from qualifying to buy the next one up here. Okay. But then the next question is going to be, hey, Greg, this is what my certificate eligibility looks like. Okay. So let's take a time out and let's talk about how certificate of eligibilities work. Okay. This is what a standard VA certificate of eligibility looks like. It'll have your name and social and some identifying information, which I've whited out on this example. And you can see down here, it'll show how much entitlement you have available. 36,000 is the standard. That means full entitlement. If you have full entitlement, reminder, you have no limit. You can buy $1 million, $2 million, 0 down. If you have other loans that are already on your certificate of eligibility, this one does not. See how the list is blank, still got 36,000. And right underneath that, it shows 0. But if you had other loans, I'll show you that example next. It'll show up in this chart. Also, I wanted to point out up here in the right-hand corner, it says if you have to pay a funding fee or not. This individual is exempt, so no funding fee. Okay, now let's look at this example. He bought a home in Florida for $300,000 plus, and $78,000 was charged of his entitlement. So the veteran's basic entitlement that is available is 0. So again, if you go to the wrong lender, they're going to say, oops, sorry, you got nothing available. You cannot use a VA loan. And this is where I'm going to show you where bonus entitlement comes in. Shoot me a call and I can get this done for you. Okay, VA bonus entitlement. Remember, we're on our second VA home at the same time. Then it matters what county you buy in. Right? There are limits to how much you can buy that second home for and still not put a down payment. Here's how the math works, okay? Right now in 2025, across the country, let's put this on here, 2025 equals 806,500. This is how, or excuse me, this is why that number is important. Here's how the formula works, okay? Okay, you start with your county limit times 25% equals X. X minus the entitlement already used equals Y. Okay, take that number times 4, and that's the most you can buy again with the VA loan and not have a down payment. Okay, for example, county limit is 806,500 is 201,625, right? So you take that number over here. And let's use our example again. Let's say you've used 78,653 already on your first loan. That equals 122,972. So you take that times 4. There you go. So you can buy a house now, your second VA loan, for up to $491,888, right? And still do 0 down. You did 0 down on your first VA loan. You did 0 down on your second VA loan, okay? Now, what if the house you want to buy is $100,000 more, $591,888? Do you need to put $100,000 down? The answer is no. You only put 25% down of the difference. Okay. So what's 25% of 100 grand? Right, 25%. So in this example, you could buy a 591 house with $25,000 down, VA loan, no mortgage insurance. Let's say you're receiving VA disability income, no funding fee, still an awesome loan. So that's how VA bonus entitlement works. Again, if your bank or credit union or online toll-free number you called has no idea how this works, hang up the phone, call me. I can work up all the numbers for you, free of charge, no cost, no obligation. I can pull your certificate of eligibility. I can run the numbers. I can send this all to you in an email. Okay, quick caveat. This bonus entitlement formula works for loans that are greater than $144,000. Let's be honest, most every home out there is going to be more than 144, but still wanted to make that important point. Next caveat. Some states have what are called high balance counties. For example, in Washington, if you're buying in King, Pierce, or Snohomish County, the county limit is increased to just over $1 million, right? These are the 3 major counties in the state of Washington in terms of population size. And there's certainly some bases out in these counties as well. So you most likely could be buying in these counties. So let's go through the same example, right? But instead of using 806, let's use the high balance county, okay? So in this example, it's going to look like this. Okay, there we go. So you're moving up here to the Northwest. You're using your bonus entitlement on a VA loan. I'm going to tell you, hey, if you're going to buy in King, Pierce, or Snohomish County, you can buy up to a $722,000 home, 0 down VA. If you buy in any other county besides these 3 high balance counties, then you can buy a $491,000 home, 0 down VA. If you would like a detailed breakdown of your specific options when buying a home and want someone to explain this to you in far more detail than just clicking an online pre-approval somewhere you found on Google, then let me know. I'd be glad to help. Totally free to you, no cost, no obligation. I'm just providing you facts, numbers, and options based on your specific situation. If you want to buy a home, give me a call and let's chat. Cheers.